This meeting is being recorded.
All right, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about Afro-Hispanic identity and the resistance. For my project, I chose option number 1, which is a visual analysis that will be based off of 2 dance performance and videos. My first slide, I'm going to be breaking down a biography over the choreographer and the performance itself. The first video is Buscando a Juan. A lot of you are probably familiar with this. We did do a past assignment over this video, which is part of why I selected this. I really related to it just based off of the Afro-Latin culture and the emotion and impact. It inspired me to choose this topic for this project. But just as an objective kind of analysis, I chose this project because it really made me relate to my Afro-Latin roots. I felt really, really connected to Juan's story. The choreographer's name is Eduardo Villaro. He is really known for his Afro-Latin performances, choreography, representing history and culture and challenges faced in the Afro-Latin space. And I felt he did a really good job to demonstrate Juan's story, which, Juan faced discrimination and challenges. He was an enslaved Afro-Hispanic painter. He eventually, got his freedom, his artistic freedom at the end. But, this allowed me to understand the tough, hardship in this performance. Now, the next slide, I'm going to be sharing more of my visual and emotional analysis, so kind of more of my subjective view on the performance and the impact itself. All right, so subjectively, I felt the emotion and burden of Juan's story. I grew up in a Hispanic household with a mix of Afro-Hispanic in my family and my culture. So I related to Juan's pain. Oh, I apologize. He was being treated not like a human being. He was being discriminated and treated less than. He was being treated as an object, which really broke my heart. But, this performance did show the message of what discrimination looks like and mistreatment looks like and how power and control one person can have over another. All right, so this next screen is going to be regarding my second video, which is a music video. Rauw Alejandro is the singer. He is a well-known Puerto Rican singer. He has a lot of reggaeton hits. The name of this music video is Besito en la Frente, which is like a kiss on the front or like a kiss on the forehead. This performance is a representation of my culture, which is Afro-Caribbean, so Afro-Puerto Rican. And they are demonstrating traditional bomba dance. And you're going to see the movements in bomba dance, the flow and resistance, obstacles, but you're really going to see the connection with the drummer and dancer. That is the key to a successful bomba dance, is they have to be in sync. I'm going to play this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing just for time's sake, but I do want you to experience what bomba dance looks like.
La bomba no es solo música, es la tierra hecha sonido. Un latido que llegó de África y floreció en Puerto Rico. Un diálogo vivo entre el tambor, el cuerpo y la voz colectiva. ritmos laten en la arena. Un diálogo improvisado donde el cuerpo ordena y la música obedece. Los ritmos se mezclan con el carnaval y la energía del pueblo.
Okay. You were able to see kind of the key movement in Bamba dance, so I'm going to stop it there. But my next slide is going to be more of like a breakdown of the visual, emotional, kind of like my subjective opinion over this performance. So you may have noticed that the dancers are leaders in Bamba dance. So the drummer didn't start playing until until the drummer saw the movement the dancer was displaying. So the drummer doesn't start playing until the dancer begins dancing, which is kind of the opposite of most dance performances, right? Usually dancers follow the rhythm and the beat. Well, the drummer is following the dancer in this case, so that is really important in traditional Bamba dance, that the dancer and drummer are always in sync. They're always making eye contact. If they don't have that connection, it will not be a successful performance. So yeah, this video made me really proud of my Puerto Rican roots. I felt like the dance, the music, and even the subtitles did a really good job at breaking down what the dance is about, what the culture is about, and kind of the history behind it. Some examples were like costumes, the skirts the women and dancers were wearing. That made me feel really close to my culture. I know Bamba dance is more traditional. It's really meant to celebrate Puerto Rico and the Afro-Latin roots and culture. So it's really uplifting. There are other dances like salsa dancing, but that's kind of diverse across all Latin culture, and it does represent Afro Latinos as well. But Bamba dance is very, very traditional to my heritage and the Afro Puerto Rican community. Now, this picture is a demonstration of a traditional Bamba dance. Once again, you could see the drummer and dancer completely in sync, making that contact. They're wearing masks, so I assume this was during the pandemic. And even during a hardship like that, you could see how uplifting and community Bamba dance represents. It brought a whole group of people together, even during a hard time. And now I kind of just want to share my reflection on both performances and, talk about the similarities they have with one another. And so I felt both performances, of course, did a really good representation in the Afro-Hispanic identity. They showed completely two different dance styles. Buscando a Juan focuses more on the hardship, right? Discrimination, identity, not being free, where the music video with Raul Alejandro and the Mamba dance is uplifting. It's celebrating the culture. It's bringing community and group of people together. So you're getting to see kind of, the struggles Afro-Latinos face, but you're also seeing, a lot of the celebration and positivity within the culture as well. So I'm glad I was able to find two performances to show you a little bit of both, because we all experience that, right? We all have pros and cons in life, in religion, culture, identity. No matter what it is, there's always a little bit of good and bad. So I'm glad I was able to kind of allow you to see both. Now this next screen is me sharing the 3 dance elements I thought represented both videos well. I chose time, space, and energy. If I'm going to be honest, I feel like all 3 of those can almost apply to any dance performance in a good way. You can almost break down kind of, where things took place and the emotion and impact of the performance. But with both performances, they did a really good job with musical timing. Buscando Juan was more emotional, more dramatic, more kind of pulling your heartstrings. And the music video with the bomba dancing was, more historical, interactive, and just uplifting. They both did a really good job at using space where the performance took place. Buscando Juan used the whole room. The dancers moved all around. The audience was all around. There was some right up front. There was some on the second level looking down at the performance. So no matter where you were standing, you got a good view and experience of the performance. And then with the traditional bamba dancing video, it was, bamba dancing outside, which is intentional, right? To bring attention to the community and bring a group of people together to celebrate the culture. So that's very much intentional for it to be done outdoors versus in a theater or something, that maybe everyone isn't aware about. And then energy of both performances were very obvious and prominent in my opinion. Buscando Juan was more heavy and the Bama dance performing was more positive. So they were complete kind of opposite spectrums in a good way, but they both did represent the Afro-Hispanic culture well. All right, now I'm going to be sharing the dance category and styles I felt each performance represented, and then a little bit about both and what I thought they represented. I'm going to start with Buscando a Juan. I felt like the category was a narrative and a contemporary because it was based on history and true stories and emotions. And I really, really liked that they used modern dance movements to storytell. It brought out, emotional and I felt the impact of the performance. And then with the music video Besito en la Frente, the bamba dancing, I appreciated that it was not only performed outside, there was a group of community, and it was really, really, really representing the Afro-Puerto Rican history and culture well, which was very much uplifting and fun to see. And then both performances were completely opposite of each other, right? Both different energies, but they both did a good job at storytelling and presenting the culture. And that's the whole purpose of this project, is to share the cultural identity with the Afro-Hispanic community. And I decided to add my personal reflection. I know it was recommended to send it as like a separate attachment from the project, but I feel it makes sense to add it as a slide. So I hope you guys don't mind me sharing this with you. So I'm going to be talking about why does the project interest me? Why did I create the project? Why the project connects to other class assignments and what I learned from the project. So this interests me because one, I was able to connect to my heritage and culture on a deeper level. I have grown to appreciate dance performances in a new light. Learning all the pieces that go into a performance, not just the dancers, but the choreography, the costumes, the props, right? The lights, the stage. All of that makes the performance more impactful, makes the story more real, the emotion. And so I have a ton of respect in how much goes into the art and hard work. That's why I chose the project and this topic specifically, because it made me really appreciate it, and I felt really close to my culture. I created this project, short answer, using research. After we did the assignment over at Buscando Juan, that inspired me for the idea of this project. I wanted to continue to learn more about dance specific to my heritage. So that is what got me to create this topic. And then I knew I was going to use a slideshow because that's my comfort zone. I'm not super creative. I'm not artistic. So slideshows allow me to share the information with you, the visuals with you, and you get to see and hear my own, reflection as well. So um, I think it's best of both worlds this way. And then how does this project connect to, other class assignments? It connects a lot. I actually used what I've learned from past assignments and applied it to this project. That's what helped inspired me what 3 dance elements I should use. I looked back at our sources and I looked back at the definitions and made sure I had clear understanding so that I can choose the correct, vocabulary in this project. So I'm glad I was able to use my resources and apply what I've already learned earlier in class into this project. And I feel like, what class content and what I learned from the project kind of correlate together. So you might hear a little bit of a repeat of some of my answers. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about my heritage, about bamba dancing, respect for performers. Raul Alejandro is a singer, but he's a very much an impactful performer with sharing his message with the culture and the history. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate me, understanding the different dance elements, and I was able to kind of apply that from past assignments, and that helped me kind of get the inspiration and the correct information for this project. So that's my personal reflection. I felt both of these performances reminded me that dance is just not entertainment, right? Dance can be so much more. It can be a story, right? And the story can be more than just culture, right? It could be over any type of story. Just my topic in particular is about Afro-Hispanic culture, but it can be about anything. Dance is a performance. It is meant to be personal. It's meant to allow you to storytell and share emotion with others. So I have a high respect for this art. And then lastly, I'm going to share kind of the resources I used for my research. I'll keep this open for a moment just in case if anyone wants to rewatch some of the videos. And then lastly, I'm going to wrap up and summarize. So, thank you for listening to my project describing the Afro-Hispanic community identity, heritage. I know Buscando Juan did a really good job at reflecting the hardships, and the traditional bamba dance represents the uplifting and a lot about the Puerto Rican and just Afro-Latin culture. Even though these 2 dances are completely opposite, completely different type of styles, they both represent the Afro-Hispanic people, the culture, the strength. For me personally, the project really allowed me to connect deeply to my culture, my roots, and I appreciate that these type of performances allow people to share their stories and history and continue to keep that alive. Thanks again. You guys take care.